Hi, and welcome back to another instalment of The Twits. Let's see what terrible things they get up to today. The next morning, when Mr. Twit came out with his huge basket to snatch up all the birds from the big, dead tree, there wasn't a single bird on it. They were all sitting on top of the monkey cage. The roly-poly bird was there too, and Mugglewump and his family were inside the cage, and the whole lot of them were laughing at Mr. Twit. Mr. Twit wasn't going to wait another week for his bird pie supper. He loved bird pie. It was his favourite meal, so that very same day he went after the birds again. This time he smeared all the top of the bars of the monkey cage with very sticky glue. And, as well, he smeared the big dead tree. Now I'll get you, he said, wherever you decide to sit. The monkeys crouched inside the cage watching all of this, and later on, when the roly-poly bird came swooping in for an evening chat, they shouted at him, "Don't land on our cage, roly-poly bird! It's covered in sticky glue, and so is the tree." And that evening, as the sun went down and all the birds came in again to roost, the roly-poly bird flew round and round and round the monkey cage and the big dead tree, singing his warning. "There's sticky stuff now on the cage and the tree. If you land on either, you'll never set free. So fly away, stay up high, or you'll finish up tomorrow in a hot bird pie." The next morning, when Mr. Twit came out with his huge basket, not a single bird was sitting on either the monkey cage or the big dead tree. They were all perched happily on the roof of Mrs. Twit's house. The roly-poly bird was up there as well, and the monkeys were in the cage, and the whole lot of them were hooting with laughter at Mr. Twit. "Oh, wipe that silly look off your beaks," Mr. Twit screamed at the birds. "I'll get you next time, you filthy feathery frumps. I'll wring your necks, the whole lot of you, and I'll have you bubbling in a pot for bird pie at the end of this day." "How are you going to do that?" asked Mrs. Twit, who had come outside to see what all the noise was about. "I won't have you smearing sticky glue all over the roof of our house." Mr. Twit got very excited. "I've got an idea," he said. But he didn't even bother to keep his voice down low because he didn't think the monkeys could understand him. "We'll go into town right away and we'll buy a gun," he shouted. "How's that?" "Brilliant," said Mrs. Twit, grinning and showing all her long yellow teeth. "We'll buy those big shotguns that spray out 50 bullets or more with each bang." "Exactly," said Mr. Twit. Lock up the house, and while I go, we'll make sure the monkeys are safely shut away." Mr. Twit went over to the monkey cage. "Attention," he barked, as his fearsome monkey trainer's voice. "Upside down, all of you, and jump on it. One on top of the other, quick. Get on with it, or you'll feel Mrs. Twit's stick across your backsides." Obediently, the poor monkeys stood on each other's hands and clambered one on top of another, with Mugglewump at the bottom and the smallest child at the very top. "Now stay there till we get back," Mr. Twit ordered. "Don't you dare move, and don't overbalance. When we're back in 2 or 3 hours' time, I shall expect to find you in exactly the same position I found you now. You understand?" With that, Mr. Twit marched away. Mrs. Twit went with him, and the monkeys were left alone with the birds. As soon as Mr. and Mrs. Twit had disappeared down the road, the monkeys quickly flipped back to their feet right away. "Quick, get the key!" Mugglewump called out to the roly-poly bird who was sitting on the roof of the house. "What key?" shouted the roly-poly bird. "The key to the door of our cage," cried Mugglewump. "It's hanging on a nail in the workshed. That's where he always puts it." The roly-poly bird flew down and came back with the key in his beak. He handed the key through the bars of the cage, and Mugglewump took the key. He put it into the lock and turned it. The door opened, and all 4 monkeys leapt out. "We're free!" cried the little ones. "Where should we go, Dad? Where shall we hide?" "Don't get too excited," said Mugglewump. "Calm down, everyone. Before we escape from this beastly place, we have one very important thing to do." "What?" everybody asked him. "We're going to turn those terrible Twits upside down." "What?" they asked. "We're going to do that? You must be joking, Dad." "I'm not joking," Mugglewump said. "We're going to turn both Mr. and Mrs. Twit upside down with their legs in the air." "Don't be ridiculous," the roly-poly bird said. "How can we possibly turn those 2 maggoty old monsters upside down?" We can, said Mugglewump. We are going to make them stand on their heads for hours and hours, perhaps even forever. Let them see what it feels like for a change. How? Said the roly-poly bird. Just tell me how. Mugglewump laid his head on one side, and a tiny twinkling smile twitched at the corner of his mouth. Now and again he said, but not very often, I have a brilliant idea, and this is one of them. Follow me, my friends. Follow me. He scampered off towards the house, and the 3 other monkeys and the roly-poly bird went after him. Buckets and paintbrushes, cried Mugglewump. That's what we need next. There are plenty in the workshed. Hurry up, everyone. Get a bucket and a paintbrush. Inside Mr. Twits' workshed, there was an enormous barrel of hug-tight sticky glue, the stuff he used for catching birds. Fill up your buckets, Mugglewump ordered. We are now going into the house. Mrs. Twit had hidden the key to the front door under the mat, and Mugglewump had seen her doing it, so it was jolly easy for them to get in. In they went, all 4 monkeys, with their big buckets of sticky glue. And the roly-poly bird came after them, with a bucket in his beak and a brush in his claw. This is the living room, announced Mugglewump, the grand and glorious living room where those 2 fearful, frumptious freaks eat bird pie every week for supper. Please don't mention bird pie again, said the roly-poly bird. It gives me the shudders. We mustn't waste time, cried Mugglewump. Hurry up, hurry up. Now the first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it. Smear it in every corner. Over the ceiling, they cried. Why the ceiling? Never you mind, shouted Mugglewump. Just do as you're told and don't argue now. How do we get up there, they asked. We can't reach. Monkeys can reach anywhere, shouted Mugglewump. He was a frenzy of excitement now, waving his paintbrush at his bucket and leaping all about the room. Come on, jump on the table, stand on the chairs, hop at each other's shoulders. Roly-poly can do it flying. Don't just stand there gaping. We have to hurry. Don't you understand that? Those terrible Twits will be back any moment, and this time they'll have guns. Get on with it, for heaven's sake. Come on, get on with it. So all the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All the birds who had been sitting in the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards and magpies and rooks and ravens and many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished.